Hey everybody, Mr.Nobody here, and today I am coming to you to explain how, or well, I shouldn't say explain, but let you know what my future plans are for modding Skyrim. Well, in the past I had other videos, as you can tell in my old projects list. Unfortunately, it's not that I didn't want to do them, it's just that my PC there was a problem with Skyrim and a few of my mods, along with Steam. So what ended up happening is my latest one, where I was doing One's Realm, that ended up accidentally getting deleted, and then my backup, for whatever reason, was corrupted. So the one realm I did ended up, the ones were realm actually ended up, well, not being able to be made. So I'll go back to that another time, since it just took like a couple weeks to get it that way, but I'm not too worried about it. So, along with my other mod, you're probably wondering how they got deleted. Well, the first mods I did, my PC had a screen of death. Death. It went red, and I ended up having to. I figured out what was wrong with it. It turned out, since I have an AMD, that my drivers and the AMD, it just made it to where it wouldn't load. Like, after I tried to do some setting changes for the AMD, it the Radeon, or whatever it's called, uh thing, it just made me have a infinite loading. I actually left my PC trying to just go up onto the main login screen alone for over a day, and it was still doing it. So I had no choice but to do a full system uh, format and everything. So that's the first set of what happened. My first set of the mods. In this other set, what happened was I wanted to see what the Creation Club was about. So I go in and I find out that it's not appearing in my game list in game. So, I made sure the game was updated. I went and made sure beta was good, and it wasn't. So I went and made a backup copy of my uh, mods, and went in and uninstalled Steam, uninstalled, well, I should say the Creation Kit, Elder Scrolls, Skyrim. And when I reinstalled, it allowed me to have the Creation Club. So I'm like, oh, okay. So then I go into my data folder, and I put the stuff back, etc. And it said corrupted. So I did what I could to try to find a remedy for it. It wasn't corrupted before, but what I used was a probably about a 10-year-old USB drive. So it's my fault for not having a uh, more secured one, or better one. I had a better one. It's just I use that for bigger backups for software, and didn't feel the need to store my stuff on it. I don't trust cloud much, but with Steam you have almost no choice. But yeah, so that's what happened. So now I have to start from scratch. So my other ones that I worked on that had months and months and months of work are gone, along with the ones that were a few weeks of stuff. My Apocrypha one that I was close to being done, unfortunately, that one, that mod was erased too. I had some that were literally just maybe a month from being fully completed. And there was no new assets. I didn't have any new assets in them, just what was in game and what I did to, well, I would say what fully new assets, a few new scripts, and using NifScope to change some of the stuff. So I guess there were a few new assets, but it was using pre-existing assets like the unique jars. I actually, um, what is it called? I took out the inside, so no insects, and I renamed it, added stuff and to it. So I guess you could say I redesigned design. I'm still getting over a cold, so if you hear me breathing heavy or something, it's just had an upper respiratory infection, still healing. So yeah, pardon me for that. But decided to go ahead and make this video because I'm gonna start doing other mods again. It's just I've been trying to get over being sick. As you can tell, I need to go in and my BSA reader and do all that. And I do have one Creation Club thing. It was the spell pack. It was 100 credits. So, and they give you 100 credits. So, but that's not going to be in any of the mods I do. That's just, I don't know. I just wanted to see what it was like. So, I'm going to start doing some more mods. I really was hoping to get my Apocrypha one done. I still don't want to say exactly what it was, but it was one of my favorites. I actually was very pleased with myself. I had the structures done. I had the portals done. I had the interior cells almost fully completed. All that was honestly left with it was trying to do some animations is the best way I can describe it. Like getting the NPCs to do a story. So, for the questing and stuff like that. But that I was having trouble with that. And then after that was actually doing the full questing itself. So, and I completed, at the time I had the player home completed with inside of it. And, oh man, can't believe that all went to waste. That I was doing that mod for probably about a year. But anyway, going back to the subject. So, alright, on here and decided to go ahead and, talk about mods. A lot of you are probably wondering, what do I use for it? Well, I use paint.net for texture making. A lot of people don't like it. They say it's, use GIMP or something, but I've always liked that. So, for example, I'm just using, for example, raw just means it's the picture of it. So I'll just go ahead and use, let's see. I want a picture, not a 3D object. Turn picture. For example, why not? Let's see if this one works. Go ahead and open with paint.net. There's Tamriel. Then all I'd have to do is, for one of my things, gotta forgive me a little bit, it's been a bit, but there, see, I can actually do a normal map if I wanted to. So, as you can see, it made it look more three-dimensional, etc. So Paint.net has its advantages. that's the current Blender. I need to go back to the 2.49B but I need to get another copy of Skyrim, the original. I had it on disc, and unfortunately, due to an accident, my discs, well, I don't have them anymore. A friend of mine looked at them and ended up dropping them by mistake, like their hand spasmed. And when they went to go pick it up, they accidentally stepped on it. Yeah. So, but I wasn't too worried because I was like, oh yeah, I got it backed up, etc. No, same thing happened. It was on the external drive I had before, so can't do regular Skyrim assets right now and use Blender 2.49B along with NIF tools to do the assets. Then once done with the assets, convert it to special editions assets. So right now don't have that. I need to redo NIF scope. Last NIF scope I did was pretty bad. So I don't really have many mod tools. I got, well, that's a controller for any games you want to play that aren't controller friendly. It's a keyboard emulator. So, like, if I wanted to play World of Warcraft with a controller, that's what I'll use. And then in Convert, OScape, SSE Edit was just really good, and the BSA. I need to put NIF scope and a few other tools back up here. But yeah, other than that, oh yeah, sometimes I try to create a little story with Anime Studio. Of course, they're more like stick drawings, but at least it lets me understand a script that I'm going for. So, like doing a storyboard. But yeah, so speaking of what I have, then of course the creation kit and SE. I used to have the creation kit, SE, and below that was mod tools, data shortcut, and below that were some other things, and then had regular Skyrim right there. So, like I said, I need to get a new copy of Skyrim, then re-download Blender. For whatever reason, when I updated to 2.79 from 2.78C, I believe it was, it got rid of my 2.49. So I'm not too worried about it. That's an easy get. I know I haven't done many videos. And again, I'm sorry if this is boring you. Really, I am. I mean, I don't really have many YouTube assets right now. uh, but, yeah, going into this, alright. That's like for future mods, like stuff I want to do. The next mod I'm doing right now is a mod I call Moonzaya. So, Moonzaya, the way it is, alright, it's an island that, how should I put it? It's an island that is in Nern, but it's a created island. It is, uh, it consists of 7 islands. It's an island chain, but the best way to describe it, here I'll go in paint.net to kind of describe it better, because I actually made an image that is going to be part of it. Well, a couple images, but Alright. Say this is the best representation of the island chain, if you get right down to it. Alright, and then this represents the main island. So this is actually probably going to be my design for the main logo for this. Go ahead and make a new layer, so I can go ahead and just start getting other things up here. So I'll go with that, and I'll fill it. Oh. So, up here, we have light magic. Okay? So, opposite would be dark magic. Then here you would have water magic, followed by fire magic. Then you would have wind magic, earth magic. If you haven't guessed it yet, I plan on creating an island and then surrounded by other islands, each with a base element. Because if you think about it, in Elder Scrolls, there is many types of magic, but there's not that many base magics out there. So I want to create a mod that focuses on the study of magic from its origins. An area that would make I wouldn't say College of Winterhold, but the old arcane school, the magic guilds, everything jealous. It'd be like if the College of Winterhold was truly at its prime, with its own freaking library of ancient text, etc., like Elder Scrolls, etc. So, yes, I do plan on trying to add an Elder Scroll in it, because I mean there are tons of them, but I might add actually like 6 or 7 of them, depending. Like give one to each island. I haven't fully decided yet on what the basis of the story is. I'm still in the concept phase. Haven't even drew anything yet. Just made these designs to work on it. So, with the concept that there are 6 forms of magic, from light, dark, water, fire, lightning, or not lightning, earth, and wind. We can assume that wind and water are more good magics, while fire and earth. But I know a lot of you are saying, well, earth can be considered good. Yes, it can. But you're also forgetting it can be used for bad too, because apparently in a lot of jungles where, if you go by, it depends on the earth you go by. Do you go by the landmass, where you can control boulders and stuff, or do you go by more of earth, as in also includes vegetation, able to make plants grow, able to create swamps, sinkholes, quicksand, stuff like that. So earth magic is a broad based. Same with light, darkness. Because I mean, darkness leads to necromancy. Light can lead to holy. But also, light is as simple as mage light. You know, you just cast it and boom, you just got a freaking floating ball above your head, or boom, you got a ball sticking to a surface. So it goes from being supportive to religious. Same can be said with dark magic. So I'm trying to say is trying to make it to where the center island is the main island where all the magic's together. The outer islands represent one particular civilization and study in that particular form. So if you go to the north, you're going to learn healing magic, and you're going to learn other types of magic that, seems off. Doesn't seem like a particular light. Here, you would find other spells that combine a lot of these. So, I tried to make it to where the exact opposite. So, for example, you take darkness and fire. Alright, if you took those together, what would you get? Really, you would think, oh, well, that's a light type, so it would cancel out darkness. But if any of you ever watched Yu Yu Hakusho, there is the darkness flame. Hiei's, Dragon of the Darkness Flame, whatever. It's black fire. It's dark fire. So, if you consider light to be the pinnacle and darkness to be the pinnacle as well, so those are the two highest magics. And depending on exactly what you're trying to do, you just created gray magic if you can walk that line. So, by doing that, you actually have a chance to also, if you think about it, everything has its own line that can be crossed. It's not just those. So you're wondering, oh, how can you do darkness and light? Well, you have to remember, light is born from darkness, and darkness is born of light. So, so regardless, they both exist within each other, like yin and yang. But it just depends. I mean, you can connect magic the way you want it, but I decided with Moonzaya, it's gonna involve the study of the origin of magic. It's gonna have some Elder Scrolls. It's gonna definitely explain a lot of things that I'm hoping are within the lore. So I've been studying up on lores and asking questions on Reddit. It actually has been a big task. I still haven't written everything down yet that oops, wrong one, that I want to do with it. I mean, like, here's that I did that concept of trying to figure out how I want the symbol to look. For, not counting the eye, but just, the star. I know a lot of you go, Star of David, but I'm not trying to be religious with that. I'm just trying to use it as the focal point, because a lot of people still think, like, here's a concept of if you minus one, like somebody who, say, is true light will not acknowledge darkness. So therefore they think it's light, water, earth, fire, wind, and the same could be said if the if the image is reversed. So if you think about it that way, there'll be a few areas that have 5 points, like other factions. But I was just playing around with a normal just to see what it would look like. And then by itself right here. I kind of like the little ashy texture I did. But like I said, I don't have many concepts here, just a few going. I need to do a ton of books still. The history books of it, uh, skill books, fictional books like just stories, journals, notes, spell tomes. Scrolls is in the magical kind. Other Elder Scrolls books, not in Skyrim. So anything that's from another Elder Scrolls game, try to recreate it. And picture books because I plan on trying to add, like, kid type books into it. If you're wondering for data and draft, when I start making new assets, they'll go here. When I finish them, I can put them in their proper place right here while still having them kind of bookmarked right in here. So I still like this. This really has nothing yet. Just I started doing this not too long ago. It hasn't. It's actually been just a few days since I actually made this. So this is really nothing. Just talking about how you got to make a world map so you can click on it and actually see the map of the island and not just see Skyrim. Then the main island, then the other islands. Probably gonna rename them because the magic of interest, dark, light, fire, water, earth, wind, and then base apertures. Those are like the main uh, name of the books for each uh, base. Aperture, if you don't know what that is, means like a hole. So, like a hole in the ground, etc. Probably wondering why I chose that name. Well, I do, like, it's like dark hole, light hole, fire hole, water hole, earth hole, wind hole, and then base hole. And that just means this book fills in as much of the gaps as possible when it comes to that type of magic. I chose Requiem because it sounded like something of the dead, necromancy, etc. Solace, it is like comfort or something like that. So it sounds like Emberston. Obviously, sounds like embers from a fire. Aquarius might change that as well. So I'm still debating on those. Which, of course, is water. Boulderston is earth, and Castoria is wind. So I'm probably going to decide what to do with these three. Then content list. Yeah, I haven't really done much with this at all. Portertown is actually a area where you start, because I do plan on having it to where you can go to any major port that like Solitude or Windhelm, and even probably the College of Winterhold eventually to get over there. Then eventually, I don't know if I'll do a fast travel like they do for Solstheim, but I don't know. That's the first town you go to, Portertown. It obviously sounds like it's a port town, so it's definitely a pier area where all the goods and stuff go to. And of course, they'll be surprised to see you. You can see, I decided that's the first name of the first quest, the Mysterious Island. So it's like you hear rumors, and it goes, discover the mysterious island or go to the mysterious island, something like that. Still got side quest, and this is gonna, when I get a chance and get the concept, I'm gonna have actually the picture of Moonzaya right here, and you know, label it or whatever the best I need. I still have a ton of this stuff to do, but yeah, Moonzaya is, how should I put it? It's the island the way it is, as I showed you in here. If you think of this as a moon, and then the eye, so it's like the moon's eye. So, and then of course just added the as in, moon, just to make it sound more like a land area, so Moonzaya. So, and I know you say there is there's two moons. That's why when you say it, it's Moonzaya. So that's why there's the essence not. So Moon's eye. So I'm hoping this actually sounds pretty interesting to everybody. I'm sorry if I'm taking so long in explaining it. It's just like I said, I've been sick. I'm still getting over it. Still taking my medications, etc. But decided to start just keeping a log of my progress with it. So when I start working on it again, I plan on recording what I can, because to me, it just seems like that would be the best way to go. I mean, I'm also starting to do, say, symbols as well. So, got that one. Oblivions. So, I mean, I've been empires. The pentacle or pentagram, whatever you want to say. And of course, I just played around, like, say, for example, the shield for can't really see it with that, so turn that off. New, lower, lower, and we'll go ahead and just paint it white. See? A shield. There, I'll redo it to make it seem much better. So, yeah, I gotta fix that one little part right there. For whatever reason, that's a pain. See, it doesn't show it there. It just shows it when I put the full shield up. But yeah, it's not too bad. Like I said, it was just for fun. Yeah, you can make these shapes too. They're not too hard. I just wanted to see what I can do. So, alright, since that's now done, get rid of that. Turn that back on. Go ahead and delete that. So I hope this kind of explains. I mean, there are still a lot of other things I want to do with modding. It's just that Moonzaya, in all honesty, has been actually a story I tried writing a while back when I was a teenager and through my deployment. And unfortunately, my computer crashed and I ended up losing it. I had over 1,000 some odd pages completed, and there was no way to retrieve it. When I was in the army, I had a friend of mine who worked with computers to, you know, uh, try to retrieve it, and there was nothing they can do. My computer just completely fried. So because of it, haven't been able to go back to trying to write it. Kind of crushed me, and I never wanted to write again because that took so much time and effort. But this time, I decided I was going to try to at least bring my world into existence in the Skyrim. It might not be exact because I don't have the skills to do the creatures and stuff that I wanted because there are tons of them. I mean, tons. So, but it's not too much of a big deal or a problem. But, alright, everybody. I mean, I'm going to have more up eventually, and you're actually going to start seeing me. It's going to be boring, but I figured I would go ahead and at least bring in the first video and explain a little bit of what my plans are and what happens to my other mods. It really honestly does suck about those. If you're wondering about some stuff, let's see, where did I put it in here? No. Hang on one moment. I just trying to remember exactly where I placed them. Okay. I got some scripts like this one and this one, which people helped me with and wrote. So this script, for example. Oh, huh. I guess I'm gonna have to redo it. Not a big deal. See, that's the stuff. See, look, that's what happens. I had it backed up and I put it on here. So, but that's fine. That whole storage transfer to and from the player, that's not a big deal because all I gotta do is go up on Reddit, go to a page I created in Reddit, which is Creation Kit Scripts, and go to transfer to and from, and Control C, Control V, and there we go. So, got that back. But yeah, if anybody wants to see what scripts I have, if there's any that I made or if I find that seems interesting, I actually place them in Creation Kit Scripts. Just one big word. If you're wondering who created it, all you gotta do is look up Hellspawn. It's not much, but manual light switch, how to make a container, how to make, yeah, I spelled accept wrong. So, yeah, I spelled accept as in accept this instead of accept as in I accept the thing. So, but yeah, so time light, which that's actually really good to have if you want to make special features, like, say for example, you want the lights in a certain area to go off when daybreak hits, but turn on when nighttime hits. That would be a good thing for, like, say, a magical society. Manual light switches are always good when what do you want to call it? When you want to create a more realistic area. And then you can make it to where you can turn candles on and off with it too. Um, that is, how to make a container accept specific items is really good as well. So if you say wanted to make a key thing, then after so and so item is in it, you can then have the door open or something like that. So you don't have to have just keys. And then when item is removed, door closes. So you can do something like that with how to make a container accept specific items. How to transfer items, the inventory from character or from container and back is like, say you go into the I have an example of it in my video from back when I tried to do my One's Realm, but you can set it up so when you go into, say, the alchemy lab, it will transfer the items from the connecting container that you put in the script to the player. And when you're done, all the items on the form list will go back into the container. So if you, as long as you make the container though have a form list to accept only specific items, so only accept the form list and reject another form list, you don't have to worry about any of your other stuff being put in there. And then enable and disable items using a container is pretty much as it sounds. You, depending on what your item number is, then you'll be able to, depending on what you, like, I had this whole thing done for every single item at one point, from item A to item, I think it was like D something, because I did item D and then whatever, because I'd go from item A to item AA, item BA, CA, and then it finally went to D something for every, not every alchemy item. So I did that at one point. But it's like, if say you want to have a container, so when you put something in a container, it can appear on a shelf. So you can activate it and deactivate it. So therefore you know by just looking at your shelf what you have inside that pouch or chest and whatnot. So that is what I tried to do. And it took a long time because you also have to have X markers as well. So if container get item count is less than 1, then it's disabled. Else, if there's more than 1, it will enable. And then end if, then it's end if, and then goes if container is this, so it jumps to the next one. So it's actually a good thing to have. But it is tricky to combine enable to transfer those two. You have to actually add a few things. So therefore, like another script. So I don't have it here because I forgot to make a copy of it. It took me a while. But when those go back into the container, it's being forced into it. So you need to have another script to accept the forced stuff. So pretty much activate the container and deactivate it without you actually going into it personally. So it was a tough script. And these are all non-SKSE scripts. I should have put those down, but since they're not labeled SKSE, they're good. But going back to, wow, I can't believe I've been talking for that long. But yeah, so in the future, like I said, I'm gonna start putting more videos up of me just working on my mod, working on the concepts, stuff like that. So I'll put down like Moon's Eye concept during the concept stage, and if I'm actually working on something in game, I'll put down creation kit, blah blah blah, and then in game testing. So I'll do stuff like that. So again, sorry for this long video. So alright everybody. Till next time, Mr. Nobody out. Peace.